What's up YouTube, and welcome to your 33rd tutorial on how to create an FPS game. And today we will be creating a very cool thing, and that is interactive crosshairs. So now the first thing we will need is actually some kind of a white image, because we want to make a regular white crosshairs, have one here, 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 here. Then when you shoot they kind of disperse away. So all we need for this is like an image, a plain image for your crosshairs. So I'm just gonna make a plain white one. You can make it any color you want, or you can even put an image out there. I don't care. So yeah, just position it like this. Make like a vertical bar, or you can even make a cube like this. It doesn't matter. They will all have the same effect. So I'm just gonna make a vertical bar like that. Save as, just call it bar. Do it as a ping or JPEG, whatever. Alright, now once you got that, fire up Unity, if you haven't already done that. Alright, and here's a game. Nothing new. Let me just show you. It's exactly like in the previous tutorial. Alright, we have a health bar, an ammo, and our lovely gun. Alright, so let's import this first. Before we put in art, let's just put it here while we work with it, and then later on move it to the art folder, because I think that's the best way to work with stuff. Instead of just instantly putting it there first, place it in the game, then put it in the folder. My opinion. But anyway, let's get started. So we will open our player GUI script, and then once it loads, there we go. And now, just like we sectioned everything with comments, we're gonna section here. Wait, I want it to be exactly equal, so I'm just gonna do this and type here not health, cross hairs. I think that's how you spell, I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Now let's start scripting. Let's look at what we need for this. Want them to kind of give the player a visual representation, a visual representation of how much recall he has in the gun. So they wanna get bigger and have a bigger distance if there's more recall to the gun, or smaller if there's less. So first thing we need to get is the damage variable, because I think if a gun has more damage, it should also have more recall, but not necessarily. But if it has more damage, it has more power, so the gun recall spreads around more quickly. So I think I'll make the speed of the crosshairs according to the damage. So let's get that variable just like we got other variables from the gun script. Just copy this line, type var power, set that equal to this dot damage. You can set it to another variable from the gun, or you can just make it adjustable from here, but I think that's the best way to do it. Now the next variable we'll need is the limit, meaning the limit the crosshairs will go. We want to change that with each gun, because some guns have more recall, so the limit of the crosshairs will be here. They go like all the way up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm making like a Call of Duty style crosshair, so that's kind of what I'm going for. I may even have an enemy indicator, that it goes red once it's on enemies, but stick with this for now. So call this variable limit, and then we set it to the gun script's spread, but that's gonna be a bit small for what we need, so make it spread times 10. Actually, you know what? Spread times 2 is enough. Or times 8. Doesn't matter. You just have to be a bit bigger than the actual spread, because this will be really, really tiny. Anyhow, let's get started. Alright, now what we wanted to do is actually grow with, gradually grow. You don't want it to just pop in the next position. You want it to just smoothly go there. So because Unity calls this function every frame like the update function, then we could just if we just put like some variable like I don't know, go plus plus, then this variable will grow with each frame that's rendered. So that variable will gradually grow, and it won't just instantly be 1,000 or whatever, you know. So we're gonna use that feature. Now first, let's make that variable. Make it a private because we don't really need to interact within the engine. So private variable. Let's call it position modifier. Pos mod. Set that to 0.0. Make sure that's either typecast it to float or you know, just put 0.0 and I'll typecast it for you. And then do if input. So if we're firing, input dot get button, fire button. So if we're clicking the left mouse click. Oh, and if we're clicking and position modifier is less than the limit. So that's a very important statement to put. Open these two brackets. Simply increase position modifier by power. Now you can also, if the power is, you know, a bit too small, you want it to have like 10 damage, but you want the power to be 100. You can still do that by like timesing it by 10 or having it plus 10, or you know, you could have all kind of modifiers to this variable too. So you don't have to have it like just according to the damage. You can also modify it. So I'm just gonna put it times 2. Right? You can put times whatever you want. You know, it's your game. That's what I'm telling you. So else, we want to check if the position modifier is bigger than 10, and want to check if it's bigger than 10, so they won't, you know, go all the way in and just collide with each other. You'll understand what I'm saying once you actually fire it up. So if the position modifier is bigger than 10 and it's well, if it's less than 10 and it's not bigger than the limit, then position modifier minus equals. Now we wanna make it fast. We don't wanna like wanna have it grow slowly and then jump quickly to the center again. So we'll make it minus equals the limit divided by 2. I think that will be a fair amount to minus it with by, because we always want it to like take the same time, to have the same time to get to the center, but different time to go all the way up. So that should do it. If you don't really get what I'm saying right here, it's just I'm just telling you how to adjust it. So you can just adjust it on your own and then figure it out, but I'm just I thought I'd make it easier for you. So now once we've got this calculation of how much to grow, we want to apply it to each of the bars. Well, let's start making the first bar. All right. So first we'll need the image that we created. So let's get it by putting in the variables. So let's call it cross hairs bar. Make it of type texture. Might not get an autocomplete for that if you're using modern development. I don't know why. Anyway, type here GUI, capital letters, dot draw texture. Excuse me if my mouse was bothering you. Draw texture, and in here we also need a rectangle. So make it rect, new rect if you're on C#. And then the texture, crosshairs bar, just like that. Now in here, I want it to be to the center. So to give it a to make it actually centered, we don't just need to be half from the screen here and half from the we don't just need to be half from the height and half from the width. We also need it to minus by half its width. So So if you do it like I said before, just a screen dot width divided by 2 and screen dot height divided by 2, then it will draw it from here, and then it will draw it like that. And the point it started drawing it from, that will be at the center. Now we don't want that. We want the actual object to be at the center. So we're gonna minus it by half the width of the object. So if that's a little complicated for you to get, it's not very important that you understand it. It's just, you know, a way of thinking. It's better to think this way to program graphical user interfaces. It's just, you know, smart positioning, smart dynamic positioning. So let's start typing anyways. Screen dot width divided by 2. I'm not minusing anything just yet because first I need to set it. Screen dot height divided by 2. And now we want to make this bar the vertical one, so it has to have a high height and a small width. So we'll set the width to 20, and we'll set the height to 80. Actually, no, that might be kind of thick. I'm gonna set the width to 10 and the height to 40. That might be good. Now watch this, alright? You take however much you put in the width, and you minus half of that from the width, so minus 20. Then you take however much you put in the height, and minus that from the height, minus 10. And then be sure to enclose the screen width divided by 2 and screen height divided by 2 in brackets. So it first does the division, and not just does 2 minus 10 and divide by 2 minus 10, because that will give you a very weird position on the screen. So now once we got a good fix on our position, let's just test that it works before we actually apply the position modifier to the variable. So go to the player, and we'll put the bar, whoops, unknown identifier limit. I think I misspelled that. There has to be a limit with a lowercase l. Now that error should go away. We should get a texture variable here exposed, and then click play. There, we got one drawn on the screen. That's how it's gonna look, and I just want to give you the idea of how to position it. See, if I make the width less, so 5, and oh yeah, let's just set it to 2.5, no, half. And watch this, it becomes thinner, right? And if I want to be thicker, then I set the width, the height I mean, width I think, yeah, width, bigger. So that's just how it works. And that's for the vertical bars. For the horizontal bars, it's opposite. So first let me show you how to add the modifier, the position modifier. So again, enclose this in brackets. This is just for execution order purposes, so it knows what to do first, so it won't mess up the math. And then if we're gonna do the vertical bar, we want it to increase the height. So actually we want to decrease the height. So to go up you need to decrease the height, to go down you need to increase the height, to go left you need to decrease the width, to not the height, I mean the y. You need to decrease the y to go up, increase the y to go down, decrease the x to go left, increase the left to go right, the x to go right. So I'm just gonna put plus on the y-axis. I'm gonna put plus position modifier, and that's a beautiful thing. We don't need to calculate this number for each bar. We can calculate it once and then use it in all bars. So that's efficient programming for you right there. Now let's try that. There we go. It's yeah, I think I might need to adjust some variables there. I can make it like power divided by 2. Now you'll see it smoothly going down. See? Just like that. If you don't like this jitteriness, you can I can show you how to get rid of it. Just leave me a comment or post in my forums, recommendedly post in my forums, and I will show you how to get rid of it. But anyways, let's make the other bar. This bar is the one going down. Actually, we need this bar to go up because it's -10. So we need to go also minus the position modifier. Now this bar is going to go down, so put it +10 and yeah, plus position modifier. So let's test that out. Alright, they're a bit kissing, I would say. So let me just pause this video 1 sec and I'll adjust the variables. Alright, so I was done adjusting the variables, and another issue I found while I was adjusting it is that they would sometimes meet even though we put it here, and that's because the position modifier is still bigger than 10. So if it was like 12, then it would still do the minus limit divided by 2, which might be more than 10. Then it would grow less than 10. So to fix that problem, just simply put if position modifier is less than the minimum value, then it equals to the minimum value. So now if you test that out, there, you got perfect. Yeah, I decided to change it back to pi divided by 2. But anyways, you can notice that the spread is will always be in between the crosshairs. That's because we adjusted it to the limit, according to the limit. You can even make it limit divided by 2 also here. I don't know if that should help you. I don't know. You can adjust it however you like. I'm just gonna leave it limit. Anyhow, let's make the horizontal one. So let's start with the first horizontal one. Now this will probably take you some time to make any of these because well, they take some time to adjust, but once you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it. So just what we need to do basically is switch everything. Everything we did to the height, we want to do to the width, and everything we did to the width, we want to do to height. So basically switch everything. So first of all, let's delete this. Alright, first of all, let's resize it to make it look horizontal. So switch the sizes. Second of all, switch where the position modifier is. Make this in brackets. And you can take the brackets off here because the position modifier is no longer there. And because it's a negative there, it's also a negative there. And it has to be a negative here always. Let's look at how our first one is doing. Wow, that is a bit too high, a bit too much there. So let me just adjust that one for a quick sec. Alright, so I'm done adjusting it. I just forgot to switch the minuses here. See, it was minus 2.5 here and minus 40 here, minus 20, excuse me, here. But because we also switched the sizes here, we need to switch the minuses. So minuses, I don't know, however you want to call them. Now just make, once you got that correct, I also repositioned the vertical bars, but once you position them likely, you can now move on to the last bar. So I suggest you copy this bar, and then just switch these to the plus signs, and make this 10. This likely to be 50, just like I put here. I don't know. That's just my personal adjustments. You have to put whatever numbers fit you. So yeah, that might also need adjusting. But anyways, we got working crosshairs, They show how much recall we have, and our recall is always in between there. Well, almost always. Anyways, the problem we also get here is that once we aim, we still get these crosshairs when we don't really want it to aim, because when we're aiming, we don't need crosshairs. Because, we can indicate ourselves. So let's just make them disappear once we aim. So down here where we draw them, we just want to check it for aiming. Now, you might be thinking that may be complicated because then we need to go all the way to the player camera script, make a boolean variable that says if we're aiming, and then get it from this script. Well, it's not that complicated actually. All you have to do is simply do the same check as you're doing in the player camera script and check if the right mouse button is held, and check if it's not held, excuse me. So if the right mouse button is not being pressed, or is being pressed down, or is, I don't know, is being touched, if it's being left alone basically, then draw the crosshairs. And look what that will do for us. Fantastic. Disappear the moment we click it. So that's kind of fun, I think. Yeah, you might want to just recall on your gun, I don't know. And so that's it for the crosshair tutorial. Next time we will make a radar that shows you, a heads-up display that shows you where your enemies are on the map. And anyway, that's all. Be sure to post stuff in my forum questions on how to adjust GUIs. I answer every question that's been posted there yet. And yeah, so I prefer there on YouTube, but do whatever you think. So see you next time, and bye bye.